So please take a comfortable and upright seat. We'll begin with a meditation practice. And it's up to you to be how you want to be most comfortable. There's no specific design on how you have to sit right now. I would recommend that you're able to be mostly upright and that your shoulders and arms can be relaxed. And let your attention filter in from the outside world, like leaving that behind, as if you were going down the jetway of an airplane and you're getting into a smaller zone of your life on the airplane. And set aside whatever would distract you from your practice. And let your breathing help you with the settling in process. So like on the inhale, you might say to yourself, be here. And on the exhale, the word now, quoting Ram Dass, you just say quietly and slowly inside, be here. And the exhale uses the word now. Just give yourself this gentle, sort of recurring reminder, almost like the gentle waves coming up against the side of a boat. And the inhale, be here. The exhale, now. Be here now. And try that for 3 or 4 breath cycles more. Be here now. And then lengthen up through your spine and bring your hands together at your heart. Sometimes you can think of that as if you were to put the 2 palms face up, on the one hand is the past from which we want to learn. On the other hand is the future into which we want to grow. We're bringing those together in the present moment. And we'll chant Sahana, Vavatu. Sahana, Vavatu. Sahana, Bhunaktu. Saviryam Karavavai. Tejasvinavaditamastu. Ma vidvishavahi. Sahana Vavatu. Sahana Bhunaktu. Saviryam Karavavai. Tejasvinavaditamastu. Ma vidvishavahi. Sahana Vavatu. Sahana Bhunaktu. Saviryam Karavavai. Tejasvinavaditamastu. Ma Vibhishavai. Om Shanti Om. Shanti Shanti Om. With your exhale, you may bow your head to your heart. And release your hands while you're sitting upright. Take the right arm, please, and press out the heel of your hand towards the side of the room. Pull your fingers back towards your right ear. You might have a zing running down your right arm. And then tip your left ear towards your left shoulder. The zing might get bigger. Rise up, and so we'll use the inhale to bring the head up. And exhale, tip down to your left. Inhale, rise up. And exhale, as you're tipping and the zing gets bigger, you might recognize that that zing is held in your body by many past experiences. Maybe this morning's experiences, yesterday, the day before. The way that we gather tension in the muscles and the nerves, and we don't really know that it's there. Let's do this twice more. So exhale down. Inhale, rise up. One more time. Exhale, extend out through the heel of your hand. And inhale, float your head up to center and let your right arm come down to hang loosely by your side. And notice the difference in your right arm and hand relative to your left. And take your left arm out to the side. As you press out to the left, tip your head to your right. And in tipping your head, you're going to let the right ear come down and then rising up. We'll exhale to go down. Inhale to float up. When you exhale and tip, try to reach out through the heel of your left hand. You're lengthening a nerve pathway. Inhale, when you rise up, that pathway is getting a little bit of release. That's why the sensations change. Exhale, tip down. Notice how the sensations might even be at the skin of your forearm. Rise up. And twice more. Every sensation in the body here is coming in the present moment, but it is an experience of the past showing up in the present. Like yesterday's gardening, or this morning's typing, or cooking, or what you've held for a long time as a pattern. Let the left arm come down and notice what happens to your left arm and also in your hand. What is the temperature? What is the tingle? Now take your right arm back up, but this time curl your hand this way. So you've got the fingers coming in towards your elbow. Let me move over so you can see that. So yeah. So when you tip it down, you're going to also take your left ear towards your left shoulder. Now the zing might be on the top of your forearm because that's the nerve pathway that you're working with. Okay, so what we're going to do here is like this. Then stretch the fingers forward and up. Now the sensation may go to the underside of your forearm. Reach your fingers forward and curl them under. And do that a few times. So what you can do is even try one finger or thumb more than the others. So you're going to be learning about the nerve pathway, even if you turn the wrist. Some of that is muscles, but lots of it is also the nerves in the body. When you have your head tipped, the nerve pathway is its longest in this particular configuration. So when we bring the head up to center, let's do that now, and notice that the sensations might feel like a little bit easier. You may have the same amount of muscle stretching, but the nerve sensation might be different in volume. And try it one more time with your head tipped. Feel free to explore and also to improvise. What is happening? Imagine your nerves feeling like, oh, good, I'm getting paid attention to. And then the next time you curl the fingers in and you've got your head tipped to your left, let that be the last one. And just really slowly keep your head to the left And bring your right arm down and down, noticing the nerve pathway. At the very bottom of that, release your fingers and your thumb and let your head float up to center. And notice the difference right to left in your arms, but also in your neck. Now the other side, please. So I'll scoot myself over. Take the heel of the left hand out, you know your position, then curl the fingers under. And tip your right ear towards your right shoulder, and there's the top of the forearms. You can say, oh my gosh, good morning. Hi to these muscles. And we're going to keep the head tipped down and let yourself explore. So you can feel into, okay, what's happening? What are these varieties of sensations here? As you move through, you can try improvising. Let that come through. Each gesture is going to be influencing the myofascial system, musculoskeletal, and the nerve system too. And when you turn your arm or shoulder in a different way, you will change the nerve pathway. So you're getting to know this, which is more subtle in your body. You're getting to know the nerve pathways. What's more dense in your body, you have a sense of where your muscles and bones are. Most of us don't take notice of the nerves until there's a painful sensation. And next, when you curl your fingers under, and slowly start to lower your left arm down, keeping your head heavy to the right. As you come down and down, let your left arm get heavy. Release your left arm. And then float your head up to center and see how things are feeling. Could be like a little bit swimmy in there. Now I'm going to ask you to take a yoga strap, and I want the strap to be large enough that you can put it on like a sash. Okay, so it's going to go over your right shoulder like this. And then I've got this, I'm going to stand up so you can see. I've got it down into the hook of my left hand. So I'm going to tighten my strap because I want you to be able to do this also, that when you press down, you're actually depressing the muscles at the upper right part of the neck. I will sit back down with you, but I want you to keep that kind of position because we're going to give you a release of the neck muscles. And so this downward pressure is holding down some of the muscle insertions that pass through here. So lengthen up through your spine and rotate your head as far as you comfortably can to your left. And then back to center. Tip down to your left. Chin towards your right collarbone. Chin away from your right collarbone. Oh my goodness. Chin towards your right collarbone. Away from the right collarbone. Still on the diagonal. Down towards the collarbone. Once more, up, away from your right collarbone. And then float your head up and gaze to your left as far as you comfortably can. Roll your right shoulder back. Raise your right arm out to the side. There's the nerve pathway. Reach out through the heel of your hand. Roll your nose to center and tip your left ear down. Bring your chin towards your right collarbone. Keep pulling your right fingers back as you raise your chin away from your right collarbone. Bring your head just down to the left and lower your right arm. Now release the yoga strap and let your head float up to center. We hardly ever use the word float for an action that requires participation, but I want you to have the sense that your head floated up the way that a ball might float up to the surface of the water when playing in the swimming pool. Now we're going to do the other side of that. So that might have been pretty dynamic for some of you. It was for me. I've been doing some gardening, and That's like a lot of small muscle movements for the hands, and the nerves are involved, and it's all gardening, as I've said, is in flexion. We are not lying on our backs gardening. We're not in spinal extension. So put this up at the base of the neck, and then place your right hand in the strap to pull down. Try to level the collarbones if you can. And then turn your head as far as it comfortably goes to your right. And bring that back to center and tip your right ear towards your right shoulder. And bring it up and do that slowly about 4 times more. The process that you're going through, the rhythm, I want that to feel loving and kind. Each time that you're tipping down, you can smile at the sensations. Each time you're rising up, appreciating this amazing inner intelligence in your body. And tip down to your right. One more time. Keep the strap firm. Now, bring your chin towards your left collarbone, up away from your collarbone, down towards your collarbone, up away from the collarbone. And it should just be like so loving, you know. Kind of like the way you would pet your cat, right? If the cat was sleeping. We were talking about cats before class, so the way you would make that rhythm for the cat. The next time that you bring your chin down towards your left collarbone, go ahead and pause there. Raise your left arm up, reach out through the heel of your left hand. And then continue, notice what's happening. Like delicious in a way, even though it's tender. Now what you're going to do is lift the chin up away from your collarbone. Then last time, bring it back down, lower your left arm. I'm sorry, keep it up, sorry. We're going to go up and gaze to the right as far as you comfortably can. And then release your left arm and your head, and let's pause to notice. Okay. There's your neck and shoulders. We're going to keep using the strap, but I want to take you through one more short sequence while you're sitting. Feel free to shake out your legs. I'm getting these questions about people's wrists right now, and it's everything. It's computers, it's small devices, it's also gardening, it's everything. It's cooking, it's shelling peas, whatever's happening in your garden. So let's do this. Please take the right hand forward, turn your palm face up, take the fingers and turn this inside out. And then bring that down. So you don't have to hold it up at the height of your shoulder. I know you can't see me as well when I do that. So what I've done is I'm just bringing it down towards my lap, like that. Yeah. So you want to breathe into those sensations. You are stretching the muscles now. When you pull the fingers back, I have very flexible fingers. They do like little back bends like that. That's not the case for everyone. So do within your means and stretch your right thumb out to the side. And take a deep breath in. And then bring the heel of your right hand up and uncurl the fingers. Now, take your right hand forward, turn the palm up, bring it in and hold the back of your hand. Okay, rotate, so now your palm is facing to the right, and then pull this down. So what you're doing is adding flexion to the wrist right here, and as you come down, then add a little twist, a little bit of rotation, and a little bit of side bending. So you turn it like you're going to turn the lid of a jar, and then tip your thumb and your pinky finger away from your chest. And you can do that in little pulsations. And what's helpful is having the heel of your hand down at about the same height as your elbow, because if you put it up here, it's less flexion for the wrist. So when you bring it down, you're getting more of a stretch there. Do it within your tolerance, please. A couple times more. So we're going to do your right wrist entirely through the sequence, and then we'll see what the left wrist feels like relative to the right. So release this one and do a little shaking. You want the right hand to feel like it's loosey-goosey at the bottom of your wrist, and you can smile if the shaking is hard, like if you're like, oh, how do I let go of my shoulder or my elbow? You also can smile if you feel the, the jiggles of the arm and the fingers might be getting heavier as the blood supply is being sent down to the fingers and thumbs. So we're going to do this 3 times now like this. 1, 2, 3. The hand, it'll tingle a little bit. I call that effervescence. Now, take your right hand forward, palm face down. Turn your palm face out and reach the left hand over the right and come through here. So your right wrist is going to get a different kind of stretch. Now what you've done when you clasp the hands, keep them a little bit snug, and you come through and you are twisting and flexing the wrist using your left hand to support your right. And let that move a tiny bit also. It's up to you. Some people, when they do this, the stretch is quite strong for them. And if you try to take the arms and straighten them out, some people can straighten the arms. I am not one of those people. I cannot straighten my arms in this position. But for some of you, that's where you're going to feel the stretch. Like here is a little bit to nothing. And for me, this is a lot of something. I don't have flexible wrists and ankles. I have flexible everything else, including my fingers are flexible, but I don't have flexible wrists and ankles. Also, my toes are not flexible. Now let's come through here, forward, release your left arm, turn the right hand palm face up, and last thing, go under, reach for your thumb and stretch it out. This region of the thumb that you're stretching right here is called the thenar eminence. I like to say that, it's a fun word. Also, your pinky finger is called digiti minimi. Digiti, meaning digit, minimi, the tiniest one, which I also like. So the thenar eminence and the digiti minimi. The other fingers have like regular names. But deep breath. And then let's release that. Now rest both hands in your lap. Close your eyes and send your mind down into your right hand and your left to feel what's happening. When we do these practices, it's like shedding some of the residue of the past, of what your right hand accumulated, with all the actions, and even with thoughts and emotions. So you might notice your right hand is a little bit more effervescence. The left hand might feel a little bit dull in comparison. Your right hand is more available to the present. The left hand might feel envy. So let's take the left hand forward. Hold all 4 fingers. Now you turn inside out like this. So that's where I say my fingers are very flexible. They bend backwards very well. My wrist is not that flexible. So when you go, and then you can place the hand kind of down in your lap. It's okay to relax your shoulder down. It's not a part of the experience. Breathe into your left forearm. You're working that from the inside. The breath can go down like traveling through your arm to say hi to these sensations. And float that up to center. Now, take your right hand forward, palm up, bend your elbow, hold the back of your hand, and then you're going to rotate and come down. And here we just do this little, these are like little side bends for the wrist. A little bit of twist, a little bit of side bend. And your right hand is offering that to your left hand. The right hand should not be coercing the left hand. So sometimes when you have wrist pain, you've also had something going on in the neck. It goes upstream. Wrist, elbow, shoulder, neck. Because the innervation goes all the way down to your wrists and fingers. Just a couple of times more. I know some of you have actually had a wrist, maybe a broken wrist earlier in life or something, some sort of imbalance there. So you might be feeling really different things left to right. Let's release that one. And now take your left hand forward, palm face down. Turn your left hand inside out. Reach your right arm over your left and interlace and then come through. And what you can do is see if the right hand can guide the left hand here. And the other part of the process is there's a possibility that you'll straighten your arms. Now, if you've had on the first side, the right wrist was stretching a lot, and if that's stretching again, it's okay. If this is, whichever wrist is prioritized by your body, that's the one you're going to feel the stretching. And breathing in and breathing out smoothly. Let's come down through here, and then release. And with the left hand, let it be loosey-goosey. Shake it out. You're sending the circulation down your left arm, so the fingers might get a little bit heavier. Keep shaking a few times more. We're going to do 3 strong shakes here in a moment. When we go like this, we say 3, 2, 1. You notice that the arm might feel kind of effervescent. And bring your left hand up, reach under, hold your left thumb, and we're going to stretch the thenar eminence on this side. You can reach the pinky finger away, the digiti minimi. The strong muscle, the thenar eminence, there's an interesting song by Ani DeFranco. She's an independent musician who made her own record label and did her own thing, still doing her own thing. And she talks in one of her songs about how we have opposable thumbs, and that should make us, like we got these opposable thumbs for a reason, and it should be associated with greater intelligence, but are we doing it? I can't recall the name of the song, but it's at least 10 years back. And then let's release and place both hands in your lap, and notice that you've been shedding some of the things that the hands have been carrying. So rest your palms face down. And now we're going to come onto the floor with the yoga strap. My hope is that your neck and shoulders feel quite a bit better or more alive. I got my cords tangled here. I don't think it'll matter in this case. I think I can still do it. So let's come back to the floor with your yoga strap. I put a blanket on my mat here so that you could see me, since my shirt is about the same color as my mat. But when you lie down with the knees bent, and take your yoga strap, and you have a loop in your strap from what we did earlier. So place your right foot up in the strap like this, and then reach your left hand. This is a very important way to take care of your wrists and hands. You reach the left hand under the strap, catch it in both sides of your hand. I'm just going to move the buckle for myself. So what you're holding is like this with the right hand, and then you can snug the strap as needed without putting the buckle in an awkward place. So now what we have is the wrist is straight, and the strap actually gives some traction to your wrist because you held it in this way. Press up with your right hand, pull down with your right shoulder. Press up with your right foot and pull down with your right shoulder. You're getting traction on your wrist. So allow for that traction for a few moments more. And your right leg really can be as strong as you'd like it to be, so far as your right shoulder is coming down, and the space you're making is here in the right wrist joint and also in the right elbow. Then take your left leg out to the side, left arm out to the side. Left leg out straight, I should say, pardon me. Take a deep breath in. And now rotate your right toes and your right knee to your right. And let's glide out. Please go only as far as you can without tipping over. No sense of tipping. What that means is you've got to have some stability at your left hip, left leg. The left arm is a counterbalance, but it can't grip the floor for you. You also need some discernment about how far to take your right leg out to the side. You're doing beautifully. Thank you. Breathe in and imagine that the residue of sensation in your right leg also reflects past experiences. This morning's walk, yesterday's hike, your bike ride, your gardening, sitting, sleeping well, not sleeping well. And so what you're doing is kind of releasing that residue and then bringing yourself into the present moment even more fully as a result of what you resolve. Breathe in and strengthen both legs. The left one also matters here. And then raise your right leg back up. Press up into your right foot. And as you press up, hold the strap and let the traction of your wrist happen once more. So pull your right shoulder down. And then release your right foot and lay out like a starfish for a moment. You're like a sunbathing starfish. I don't know if they do that. I don't know what their thought is. I don't know if they're thinking. Let's take the left foot up into the strap. But before you do that, try to check both wrists for a moment. Like which one, what's the difference again? What does the right one feel like compared to the left one? And then let's do this. Take your strap, make it a little bit bigger so the loop, you can adjust it. Because you're then going to put your left foot in here. Reach the left hand under between your shin and your strap, and then start cinching the remainder of the strap. So that this is only as snug as you want it to be. And then as you press up with your left leg, pull your left shoulder down and give some traction to your left wrist. And take the right leg straight out, right arm out to the side. Rotate your left toes and your left knee to your left. All right, now keep some of that traction from your strap on your wrist. Sometimes the strap feels like it's going to keep sliding. That's what's happening to mine. I'm just going to change how I'm holding it so that the traction will continue without my strap sliding. And then when you turn your toes and your knee out, go ahead and open out to your left without tipping over. It might help if you turn your head to the right, even though it's not really a big weight. It's a kind of recommendation for your brain's orientation. And that orientation is to keep the right hemisphere of your body grounded right now. Your left leg is not pulling you over to your left. As you're coming over and out to the left side, put your right shoulder down, right hip down, but relax your right fingers in your right hand. They are not holding you in the pose. So now gently breathing in, we're going to use the exhale to raise the left leg back up to center. And see if some of that traction can happen again where you're actively pulling your left shoulder down towards the floor. Press up with your left foot and sense the space you're making in your left wrist. And then release your yoga strap and your left foot and lay out like a starfish for a moment. See if that effervescence can go out both arms to both hands and down both legs to both feet. And you can put your strap aside for the time being. Take your left leg straight out. Please bring your right knee up to your chest. Hold it with both hands. So here's an interesting thing that we're going to be playing with. When you twist in this position, we have seen photographs of this where people twist and the knee comes easily down to the floor over here. That's not the case for everyone, and nor is it recommended for everyone. How are we going to know? Cross your left hand to the opposite of your right knee. Open your right arm out to the side. And when you're coming over, if your right shoulder begins to lift up off the floor, like you're going to tip over, which I'm showing here, if you're going to tip it down, and the right arm is flailing up like this, then you're not a person for whom having your knee go all the way to the floor would be recommended. So I'm just showing my foot dexterity. So what you do is you can place a foot under the ankle and the shin. So a block under each one. And then we are twisting over to the right while you keep your left hand on your right knee. And for some of you, it's going to be even more important that this block goes tall and the block for the ankle is medium. And what you should do is you really try it out and see, where do you have the most support? What is the feeling that your body will say yes to? So that you have an undistracted twist of your upper body to the right. So this is my configuration for this morning. Even though at times I've had more flexibility for this twist, this is what my body is able to do this morning. You rotate your heart and your gaze and your right arm. And remembering that everything is really tied together in the body. So wrist pain can also be a limitation in your shoulder, in your neck. Those are also postural habits that include history. If you keep tracing that line, you can imagine the right upper chest right now, right side waist, right outer hip, and even across to the left low belly. This is all tied together. So that's why sometimes when you go to acupuncture, you say, oh, it hurts here, and they put the needle over there. No. There's a subtle body pathway, a myofascial pathway, nerve pathway, the muscles, the bones, the mind. Let's now open the left arm out to the side and raise up your right knee. Pull your right hip back down to the floor. And then take your right leg out, so like a starfish again. And just check and see, okay, what's happening, hands and feet? Where is the tingle? Where does the energy go the most? If you were using blocks on the first side, now is a good time to shift them over for the other side. You can try using your foot dexterity. And then bring your left knee in towards your chest. Stretch your right leg out straight. Good. And then using your right hand to support. One thing you can do is shift your hips slightly so you're on your right outer hip as you come across. Check that your blocks are where you need them to be. And then rotate from your lower belly and your mid belly, your rib cage, your heart, your left arm. Imagine the pathways that are connected from your wrist over to your left pinky toe. Even from your wrist to the right big toe, your left wrist to the right big toe, everything is tied together, communicating. Release your right hand and roll your left knee up to center. And come again to your starfish moment and see, okay, what's happening now? And as you resolve some of the past residue in your body, what changes in your mind? And then shift to bend both knees, please. And roll to your side. And come up to table pose, facing forward. And bring one block for each hand. So this was a question that we had yesterday about placing the hands on the blocks and what happens with the wrists. So if you place both hands here, I'm recommending that you turn your fingers out like this. At the same time, the student was saying something important, that on the blocks, her wrists collapse a little bit more. And that's why she was getting some pain across the wrist there. So let's try turning the blocks slightly out, with the hands also turned out. And then try to put the weight into your index fingers and thumbs, like you're stretching that part of the hand here to press down and make a little bit less weight on the wrists themselves. And then come into cat pose. I'd like you to notice the difference for you with your wrists. When you go to cat pose, we tend to press firmly down. And our body weight also tends to be more back in the hips, pelvis, and legs. Even though we're not leaning back, the hands are slightly forward of the shoulders. Take a deep breath here. And then lift your sitting bones, and when you transition to cow pose, your body weight's likely to feel like it's going to come forward into your shoulders more, into your chest and heart more. If you can keep the pressure into your thumb and index finger knuckles, and less in your wrists. And then do that again. Inhale to cat pose. Notice how the weight is distributed between your thighs and your knees, your arms and your hands. And then shift it to cow pose. Raise your sitting bones. Bring your heart forward. And then come to table pose and reach your hips back towards your heels. Go slowly, so you're going to notice how the weight changes in your hands. Now, press down into the knuckles of your fingers, each finger, and your thumb knuckle, whichever knuckles are touching the blocks, and gently lift the heels of your hands off the blocks. It's a tiny lift, so keep the knuckles grounded. Lift the center of the heels of the hands. Stretch the backside of your body. And then roll forward, table pose. Curl your toes under. Reach up to plank, and then back into downward dog pose. And make your dog pose short enough or long enough for you, but see if you can press your knuckles down against the blocks again and lift the very center of the heels of your hands. Even if they don't come off the blocks, make a little effort right there. You're going to be strengthening muscles underneath your forearm, from the center of your palm up towards your elbows. Inhale deeply, enjoy your dog pose. And then when you shift forward, you're coming towards plank. Try not to have the heels of the hands collapse, even though they're weight bearing. They should not feel like they're collapsing on the blocks. Touch both knees down. And this time, place a block for your head in child's pose. And turn your palms face up. Bring the elbows down to the floor. Invite your upper back to relax really deeply. Invite your mind to relax. And then turn the blocks of the pose lengthwise, and rotate your head as far as it comfortably goes to your right. Take your second block to be ready for you over there. So turn your head to your right as far as it goes. So ready now, take the right hand, place the block on the medium setting, and twist your upper back to your right. Slide your left arm out on the floor with your palm face up. So you're twisting to your right. One of the things I said this earlier in the summer, at this very moment, I'm reminded of, I used to teach swimming lessons. And this reminds me of teaching the crawl stroke and how to breathe. We're doing a static pose right now, static meaning stable. As you reach your left arm forward, turn your left palm up and pull back with your left hip. Press your right hand on your block so you're turning your upper body, your upper back and shoulder to the right. When I was teaching swimming, I was in my late teens and early 20s. I was a competitive swimmer. And what I noticed was that the people who came to swim laps in the senior hour of the day, which I'm nearing that time in my life, but they came during the senior time of day, the special swimming laps period. And for them to take a breath in crawl stroke, they turned the whole body. They didn't just turn the head and the shoulder to get the breath, they had to turn the whole body. And that likely indicated some stiffening or tightening that had happened in the structure of their body over many years. So when you're twisting here, think of keeping your left hip back, the left arm long, and you twisted your upper body to the right. Take a deep breath in. And then roll back to center. Put the second block to the left side of your mat. Place your right elbow down with your palm face up. Left hand to your block. Turn your head as far as it comfortably goes to your left. You're about to take your crawl stroke breath on the other side. That was something else I noticed, is that people, they were comfortable breathing their breath only on one side. They didn't alternate very well. So we're alternating here. So slide your right arm forward with your palm face up. Press down with your left hand against the block to rotate your upper back to your left. Roll your left shoulder up. And as you're turning your head to your left, reach on the back side of your right arm to the back of your right hand. That's what you can do with the breath here to keep awareness from your right hip and sitting bone into your right side waist and shoulder. The twist is to your left, just the upper back twisting. And then roll your head back to center and see if you can reach both arms out straight with your palms face up. Slide your elbows back so they're near to your knees. Press down and rise up to the end. Okay, and now take one block for your shoulder blades like this, and one block for your head like this. You've got your strap close by. You can see that mine is overhead behind my blocks. So when you lie down, place both shoulder blades on the block on the flat setting. Take the block for your head on the medium setting. Reach for your yoga strap. Don't hit yourself in the head the way that I did. And let's make the strap so that your wrists are shoulder width apart. Then raise both arms overhead. Now the arms can just keep a little bit of activity going right here. Keep your palms facing each other, straighten your elbows. Reach gently, not vigorously, through your arms. Notice the pathway of the breath right now. You can release the strap, let it fall to the floor overhead. Release both arms up towards the ceiling. And both arms out to the side. Invite the chest and shoulders and heart to deeply relax. So you can have the flexibility to take the block that's under your head and place it on the flat setting. And feel the chest and heart there. Yeah. And some of you can check and see if you put the block aside. As your head comfortably come down to the floor behind you, the throat will be open. Since you're on a block, and that's a pretty firm, kind of unforgiving circumstance, it's quite likely that not everybody can bring the head down on the backside. If you're almost there but not quite, you can clasp your hands, hold them behind your head, and let your hands rest on the back of your knuckles. Or rather, put the back of your knuckles on the floor so your hands could support your head. And then take the elbows out like you're having a suntan. Seems like you're lounging around just thinking. Getting some nice sun. Now to come up from here, you have to be thoughtful. So my recommendation is that you put your hands now, palms face down under your hips. And then thoughtfully use your throat on the front side to bring your chin in towards your chest. Look forward and take the legs forward as you rise up to sitting. Put the block aside so you can lie back and take both blocks to Bharmanasana. So what you can consider now is when you set into Bharmanasana, how high or low do the blocks need to be for your hips to be relaxed and for the pelvis to be neutral. So you don't have a big arch in the lower back and you don't have the lower back flat to the floor. Take the arms out with your palms face up. Roll your head to center. And relax from the center of your eyebrows. Let's imagine this, from the center of the eyebrows down to the index and pointer fingers. Imagine relaxing in that pathway. And then place just inside the eye sockets where the eyebrows end. The center of the eyebrows. Just imagine it all the way down your neck and shoulders into your hands. Your fingers, especially pointer and index finger. As you visualize those pathways relaxing, you could use an image from nature, like a meandering little brook, a meandering little creek, a tiny bubbling stream, somewhere in a beautiful shaded forest. yourself to rest really deeply, the mind might become still in the present moment. Invite that stillness to go deeper yet again. The mind does not wander to past or future. Now we're taking refuge. Simplicity of this moment. In this moment. In this moment. Allowing the body to stay heavy and grounded. Bring your awareness into 4 regions of the body. Check in down to the toes and out to your fingers. And then lightly wiggle your fingers and your toes. When you bring your knees up to center, notice the change in your pelvis, lower belly. And then please roll to your side and rest there for a few moments. Rest on your side to acclimate. And then you can use both hands to bring yourself back up to sitting, please. And come up to a comfortable seat when you're ready to. Rest your hands in your lap. And take notice of what's happening now within you, in your body, in your mind. And then please bring your hands together at your heart. And with appreciation for the time you've committed to your well-being, you may bow your head to your heart. And release your hands. Thank you, everyone. I hope you felt some good resting for yourselves. What we're carrying in the body, we often don't even know that we're doing it.